Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Happy New Year. My name is Crystal Morris. I'm the Aboriginal Education Coordinator for the School of Population and Public Health for the University of British Columbia. My traditional name from Vancouver Island is Ve'ehia. My interior name is Malastia. Welcome to our first Youth Circle of 2013. Today we're excited to have School District 43, the Aboriginal Education Department, School District 43, Coquitlam with us here today. There is a bit of history here with Rob and how this session came to be. Initial discussions were started with Lori Ebenall, and she connected me with Rob, which is really quite exciting because in promoting the UBC Youth Circle, some other school districts actually requested, why don't we form our own Me to We? Because at that point in time, with my initial discussions with Rob, there was that interest in the Aboriginal Me to We. And then in the discussions with Lori, she said we are running our own form of Me to We, which was exciting to hear that there is these initiatives taking place already. And we wanted to highlight School District 43 and the work that they're doing out there. And what I'm going to do is tell you a little bit about each of our speakers today. Morgan Anson. Morgan Anson attends Summit Middle School in Coquitlam and is of Aboriginal heritage. Morgan is a co-founder of the Aboriginal Play It Forward Sports Foundation. And next to her is Bo Laszlo. He is a grade 8 student at the Moody Middle School. He is a member of Coquitlam's Aboriginal Me to We leadership team, which assisted in the Aboriginal Play It Forward Sports Foundation to collect the sports equipment for the Aboriginal communities. And next to them on the very end is Rob Cowie. He is the coordinator for the Aboriginal Me to We, the leadership program, and a worker in the school district.
Resource teacher, yeah.
Resource teacher. Okay, so I'm going to just do a little bit of housekeeping before I turn the table over to our guests. First of all, I'd like to recognize the traditional territory for which our home office here resides, which is the Musqueam territory, recognizing the importance of the ancestors and of the Musqueam Nation. And in addition to that, today's session is being recorded, and just so you all know that it will become a learning resource online for other people to have a look at, other school districts, other students. In addition to that, if anybody has a problem with that is online or participating, unfortunately, you're just going to have to sign off because we do use this for future, as a future learning resource. In addition to that, the learning outcomes for today is to share and highlight what's being done across the province with relation to Aboriginal We to Me. In addition to that, could you please online tell us how many people, let me know how many people are in your room currently, and I will check in with you later as more people join the group, which that usually happens. In addition to the video conference, all our video conferences are on mute. And with our Adobe Connect, we're trying something new today. We have now been running Adobe Connect for a couple of sessions, I think about 3 sessions now. So today we're going to try something new. If you have webcams, ensure that they are plugged in and functioning. And to ask a question, you need to raise your hand up in the little icon. If you look on the top of your screen, there's a little person with their hand up in the air like this. And you will need to raise your hand at the top of the screen so that the moderator can enable your microphone and you will be able to communicate with us. So that is very new for us today. In addition to that, we're going to have to be repeating questions so everybody can hear the question. So at this time, I would actually like to turn the table over to you, Rob.
Sure, I'll start. Thank you very much for having us, and thank you everyone for connecting in with us today. I was, again, to repeat what Crystal was saying, my principal of our Aboriginal Education Department talked about meeting Crystal and the initiative that she has begun with youth circles. And the interest in the Me to We movement, sort of the whole idea of youth, empowering youth to affect change. And in talking with Crystal, we found out that her goals and our goals were very similar, and we were very excited to hear that we had this opportunity to share some of the projects that we've been doing in Coquitlam and the partnerships that we've been making. And today you'll probably hear our story of last year's Me to We project for our Aboriginal Me to We students. I myself, my traditional name is Pekakaspath in Halkomelem, which means white spirit bear. And it was an honor for me to be part, my position's brand new in Coquitlam, and it was an honor for me to be part of our Aboriginal education in Coquitlam. And one of my passions is for student leadership. And one of my goals was to create opportunities for the students, especially from our Aboriginal community, to show them that they can create change. And when Me to We came to Vancouver, we had the opportunity to participate in the big event. And from there, discussions, we were, well, what are we going to do? What direction should we take? And lo and behold, one of our youth workers happened to be working with Morgan at the time and said, I have someone who needs to come and talk to you. And so Morgan and her father came to my office and said, we have this idea. Now, I'm not going to spoil the idea because that's Morgan's story. But what I did ask Morgan to do was to come to be part of our Me to We team in Coquitlam and to present to the Me to We students. We have middle schools in Coquitlam, and so our Me to We leadership team are grade 7s and grade 8s from middle school, and we have approximately 5 of our middle schools who are part of that. So we meet every month, and we talk about our goals and where we're going to go and how we're going to fundraise and where those funds are going to go to. So she came to one of our meetings and presented, and that's sort of the beginning of our story. And I'll pass it over to Morgan.
Okay, well, for this project, it started last year, so that'd be my grade 8 year. We needed to do a pay it forward project, and me and my really good friend Kayla decided to be partners. And we wanted to do something simple, not really simple, like that would make a difference, like go to an animal shelter or school and help like the kids or help with the animals or whatever, but they said we were too young or they didn't have space because there's a whole bunch of groups from my school who had to go help. So from that, I came home one day and my dad was talking to his brother Jason, who lives down in the Dididot community. And through him, I learned that they didn't have any sports equipment whatsoever and they couldn't play what they wanted to play. And being huge on sports, and Kayla is too, we decided that it would be cool if we could help out this community by collecting sports equipment to give them so they could have a better chance at trying different things. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, do you want to continue on and tell a story about when Aaron, your youth worker, connected with you, with me?
Okay, so when I went to you, or?
Yeah, you can say Aaron came to you and said, hey.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had to find like our Aboriginal youth worker because I hadn't met her yet, and when I found her, I was talking to her, and she said, oh, well, you should try talking to the Me to We, because they need a project, and they could probably help you. And then we went to me and Kayla spent a really long time building this huge presentation to come and present in front of the Me to We group. Yeah.
And then came, presented, what else?
And so what happened to the Me to We group? What did we decide?
The Me to We group decided that we should do it and come up with ideas. We brainstormed the ideas that we came, and we went to our schools, we shared them, we collected money, sports equipment, uniforms, anything that we could that could help. And then we brought it back to our Meadowee and Morgan in our garage.
Yes. Collected everything where we couldn't use my
That
garage
was-
anymore.
So we do have a couple of slides to show. We have a couple of slides to show. Do you want to talk about the first one that we're going to see? Okay, go ahead. Morgan, that's you.
Okay. So
Oh, if you back up.
one
Oh,
more.
one more.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay. So
talk about why it's called Play It Forward.
yes, I got it. Okay. So originally it would be called Pay It Forward, which is the idea that somebody would help a couple people, and then those people will help a couple more people, and eventually, like, pretty much everybody will be happy and they'd be helped in some kind of way. But because we also heard of a different project that was going to Africa, and it was called Play It Forward, and we thought we'd kind of spin that off a little bit by doing Aboriginal Play It Forward, because that's exactly what it is. And then Sports Foundation, because we are working through sport to help people.
So a play on words.
Yes, play on words. That'd be Kayla and I for our interview with CTV.
So you had a lot of coverage then.
Yes.
That's neat.
The Coquitlam Aboriginal Meadowee logo,
That's our
who came
Coquitlam
up with
district.
this?
That's mine.
You made that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pretty creative.
This is the Meadowee group that the District 43 made that helped with Morgan and Kayla.
So these are the students that did all the fundraising
Yes.
and
Yeah.
collected all the equipment that
Yeah.
you stored in your garage.
You'll
Pretty
see a
much.
couple of pictures in a second of
Yeah,
that.
there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. So that was our school. That was me and Kayla at our school. I think that was
How
the
did-
Wednesday.
Yeah, how
supposed to
did
be?
CTV get word of what you were
Oh,
doing?
well, we actually had a few newspapers talk to us first, and then I don't know, how did they find us? I don't know. Well, probably through the
Through
newspapers.
Through Perry's Kids,
Yeah,
right?
Perry's Prospects. Yes, Perry's Prospects that finds kids and then kind of does a story about them and what motivates them and stuff like that. And they kind of decided to do us instead, which was a spin, because normally it's about what the kids want, not what they want to do for other people. Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, that's interesting.
So our garage, the week of, before we left on the Friday.
That was
Something.
holy.
And that was only half of it. That was the
That was
equipment,
half.
not the uniforms and clothes, which are inside.
Wow.
So
You can talk about Meadowee fundraising.
okay, so this was one of the ideas at what school?
This is Pitt River,
Pitt River.
middle. Yeah.
Pitt River Middle. They had a jelly bean guessing for 25 cents each.
Got $95 or something.
Yeah, $95 from it, something like that.
Wow.
And then all went to Aboriginal, which bought brand new
It bought a lot of shin pads,
shoes,
and
too.
I don't think it was the
What about
shoes.
the
No,
shoes?
shin
It was
guards
shin
and-
guards
and basketball
and
nets.
basketball nets.
Okay.
So that was the picture of Morgan and Keela that was in the newspaper
Yes.
at the time. Yeah,
The first one.
yeah. And then there's a really good shot of
All
how
the
the
stuff.
room that's not the garage, that's their downstairs
Basement.
basement room, where all the uniforms and a lot of the other equipment.
Other
Yes.
equipment.
And it had field hockey and softball and
Soccer.
even some baseball and soccer. It had
Field hockey.
field hockey. It had everything. I was
Broom
surprised.
ball.
And broom ball. I never saw that before.
Okay, so after that, we delivered the equipment on our way on the BC ferries to Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
To Vancouver Island, and then on the ferry, just waiting, having a blast.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and then we went on a really, really long, bumpy logging road to this semi-remote community that their school, Diddy Dot, the community school, and then after that's the school, and then that's the truck, the U-Haul truck that we brought all the sports equipment in. recently before that, the school got burnt down, and that was the brand new one here.
Yeah, that's 9-year-old. 9 years old, that school,
9
right?
years
Yeah.
old. That was all the sports equipment and the bus back there.
It's much bigger in person. Kind of
Yeah.
small there.
It was a lot in person. And then we started just unloading and bringing the sports equipment in. And then as we saw, the kids came from their homes and they were so excited, wanted to start getting it as soon as possible. So they went in the lineup, grabbed equipment, and brought it in. Then after we got it all in, we decided let's meet all the students. And we played a guessing game that the principal made up, and of course they thought my name was Morgan.
I'm pretty sure they
Slow down just a little bit because they haven't gotten the picture yet.
Oh, so we got to slow it down?
Yeah.
Should we keep talking? Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
then
Oh,
let
where's
them
the
see the
picture?
little guy first that you just talked about, and
Yeah.
one more.
It's this
This
one.
is it.
It's the connection, I think it keeps coming in and out.
Okay, so we apologize if we're
it.
skipping ahead and you can't see the picture that we're
Yeah.
talking about, and technology is not perfect, but looks like everybody's caught up now.
Yes, or the
Everybody caught
connection lags, and then we lose it, and then they see it again.
Oh, okay.
That's what's happening.
So we'll just
Okay,
shall
so
we,
can they
as we
hear us?
skip
Yes,
to the
they can hear us.
Okay, so the guessing game was that they tried guessing our names and we tried guessing their names. It was Morgan, which she was in the Canuck shirt, but they insisted that I was Morgan.
It was funny.
Yeah, they insisted. I was like, I don't think so, but I was the one with the striped shirt beside Kayla. That's playing the guessing game. All the kids that were there.
Just wait. There, you watch her computer. You can see when they get the picture. Okay. So there's some more. Yeah, just see some more shots of the students.
More shots of the students. My cousin's in there twice, both of the pictures, and then some.
Do you want to talk about that just a little bit now about the connection for this trip for you?
The community.
Yeah, sure. My heritage is from Didydot, the community. My mom lived there for a bit, and then same with my uncle and grandpa. I guess I had some family members from the Thompson family, and the little boy in the plain black shirt right there, that's my cousin. He was nice, got attached, we hung out a lot, I guess.
And
So-
you had never visited the community?
I've
or-
never visited the community before. When I told my mom, I was like, hey, I'm going to Didydot, and she's like, oh yeah, we're from there, and then I learned that. I was like, oh, okay, so I get to meet the family members, and I think I'm part family with the chief there. Believe that? Okay, and then after we played, we decided let's just play with all the equipment. Lots of basketballs. They love basketball. That's my little cousin right there. Right here, my little cousin bouncing the ball back and forth on the bleachers. And then playing tag, basketball, soccer. Everything you can imagine.
Yeah,
really.
the kids were very excited because really the only in their equipment room, you can see in the far back in the top photo, that's the principal at she's in the front of the equipment room doors. In the equipment room, they had 6 basketballs for a population of 56 kids, students, and they had maybe 2 volleyballs,
Handball and soccer ball. That's
a
fun.
handball and soccer ball. So when we came, I'm not sure if we put a shot of the equipment room after.
I think we
unfortunately.
did.
We might
Well,
have.
we'll see it in the photos. But the kids were just so excited, and we actually had to put the principal there because
They were just going to
they
grab
were,
everything.
yeah, it was like Christmas to them, and they were just grabbing everything and pulling it out. So we had just at a little time we would bring little things out.
Little
You
at
see
a
hula
time.
hoops out there and all that. So it became a really great way. You click to the next slide. a really great way of us introducing ourselves and just coming together with the students and just playing, basically is what we were doing, right?
Having a blast, smiling.
And we keep in contact with a few of the kids we met down there, and they still say how happy all the kids seem to be because they can go into the gym and pretty much play whatever they want, and they never had the chance to do that before.
Oh, there we go. After that, they decide to do an honoring feast of honoring us coming and helping them out and thanking us for coming, and we're glad we came. It was happy. Very fun. And then this is them doing their traditional dances that they learned. Where we are, we don't have that, which is, I guess, kind of disappointing because I like learning the First Nations culture and my heritage, knowing where I'm from.
In this picture, it's because we didn't have like a whole bunch of a few like items, we decided to do a raffle, and like in this picture is like a little boy, and he won a basketball, and he was so excited. He's like, "This is mine," and we're like, "Yeah, it's for you." He goes, "Oh my gosh, it's mine!" He was smiling so big. It was amazing.
Can I tell the one story about the child with the basketball at home?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, the one thing they were lacking in their equipment room was a ball pump.
Yes.
And the nearest gas station that had a pump was 2 hours down the logging road. So this little boy said, "Do you have a pump?" We said, "Yeah, actually we brought two." And he took off, and we're like, "Oh, did I say something wrong?" But the next thing we know is he shows up with this poor little deflated basketball, and he hands it over and he says, "Can you please pump it up?" So we pumped it up, and he took it in his hands and he said, "It's alive again." And off he went, and he went bouncing in the gym with it. And it was like something that we take for granted because of our schools. We have the pumps, just a pump. Mm-hmm. It was really, and for us to be able to, now he can use it over and over, and it's not just discarded anymore. And that was his life. It's back and it's alive, and for him to play. So that was a really proud moment for us too.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well said.
Kayla and I and a few of the counselors all got eagle feathers that have never touched the ground, and mine still hasn't. I don't know about you, but mine still hasn't. And it was kind of a way of honoring like what we accomplished, and it was like amazing because at the time I don't think I really understood what a big deal it was until like kind of afterwards, and it kind of all like settles in your head and you're like, whoa, that was like amazing, and that's like a real like gift to be given something like that amazing.
So that was done during that evening of honoring.
So,
they
yes.
also
Yes.
gifted you with an eagle feather. Nice.
The next morning we woke up very early, visiting Carmana, the old growth forest, provincial park. It's beautiful there. Just amazing wildlife. This is who we went with. We went in their school bus vans up the mountain, and then some of the few locals came along, and we just walked through the forest with the chief right there.
I'm gonna add a little bit too. Is a lot of you'll see there's a lot of a few of the community that are with us. They were so excited to come along because even though they're only 45 minutes down the logging road to the access point to the Carmana, they themselves had never visited the park itself. So for them, this was the first time going to the old growth for a lot of the younger community there. And the gentleman who's kneeling in front with the dog, his name is Sam, and he was our guide through the forest because.
Chief.
He's not the chief. He's
Oh, is he?
no, he's not the chief. But he was the MC for our honoring feast. But he's the storyteller. He's the keeper of all the traditional territories, and so he was our tour guide, showing us their traditional territories, but then telling us the stories. And the stories were that was the highlight of the trip. Really, is when he stopped to share his stories.
Yes, we have one story. We have one story, right?
Yeah.
Walking through.
There you go.
Just walking through Carmana, just the trails, how they have just nature all over them.
And it's completely amazing because we don't really have the opportunity to see something like this except for like Stanley Park, but it's way lower scale than this place because it's amazing. The trees just go up and up and up, and you can't really see where they stop.
On our trail, the trail that we followed to get to these locations was the part of the Pacific Coast Trail, and we had to go through one log that was one tree that had fallen over the trail, and they had to cut it in order for the trail to continue. And someone took the time to actually count the rings, and the tree that fell was 540 years old. Wow. And it was I'm fairly tall, and it was up to my shoulders, and that's how thick and wide it was. So yeah, it was amazing just to see the trees in that age. So you see the lady there. That's the famous three sisters that you'll see on the posters of the Carmana. And she's standing right in between, or right in the middle.
Principal.
That's the
Yeah,
principal.
it's the principal of the school.
Yeah.
When we came in, she was just in front of us.
She's eccentric. She was so happy.
Yeah, she was just eccentric.
She was so happy that we were coming that she had
she
tears
was-
in her eyes, and then
yeah.
she just knew that it was in her words it was a gift that we arrived, and so we really felt special, and we were treated extremely well. Aren't you? That's us at the bottom looking up. Eh?
Yeah,
It's
the
just a
huge
huge
tree.
Wow.
Huge. This is one of our Meadowee students, just admiring the huge trees, and that fern is just huge. We don't really see ferns that big where I have ferns by my house, but they're small and stepped on. And I like ferns. They're kind of cool.
So this is the lookout heading on the logging road up to the Carmana, but on our way back, Sam stopped us here on the side of the road for this lookout, and what you can see is the Nitnat Lake itself, and Nitnat Lake is one of 3 tidal lakes in the world. What that means is that it's a freshwater lake. However, as the tide rises, the salt water comes in to the lake. And so on the top is fresh water, and at the bottom is salt water. So they can actually go on that lake and catch crab on that lake because of the saltwater layer. It's highly studied through the biodiversity that is in that lake. UBC is out there all the time sending out biologists and everything to check. So it's a very rare lake, but because of that, because they have a lake and they have access to the oceans, the Dididat community was known as master canoe builders because they had to design a canoe, a dugout, that could travel quickly on lake, still water, as well as ocean water. And they would have coastal communities coming to them. And Sam was telling us that at one time their community was very powerful and renowned for their canoe skills, and very, my words would be wealthy, but in stature just known as master canoe builders. Mm-hmm. And the loggers who were really close to, they're not allowed to log into the Carmana, but they get pretty close. You can see clear cuts really close, and so for us to see it, it was a really,
It was horrible.
it was pretty amazing. You go from this lush forest to clear cut.
And it's nothing
They
there.
said that they actually found a half-completed dugout from centuries past, and they said, what do you want us to do with it? And the community, so wise, they said, leave it. That's where it needs to be. And the loggers respected that, and they left it alone in the forest area. So we were.
neat.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the story about the whale?
Yeah, there's a story that Sam told us. when we got to it, he said, I got a story I got to tell you. So we listened along, and he said, a whale was found in this lake, and it was just rising up and down, jumping in the lake, and he could see that it was in a bit of distress, so he goes up to it and by his canoe, and what he sees is it has ropes in it.
All wrapped around it.
Wrapped
just
around
some
it.
Fisherman's net that has just been tied up.
Yeah, and so what he did was he got a knife and he cut the whale free, and then after he cut it all free, he saw the whale was happy. He was jumping out of the water high and flopping around. And then about a year later, next season, he sees that whale again, and the whale just came by his canoe and was like circling it, jumping up, and just you could see how it remembered him and how that whale was like, yeah, thank you for doing that. Like, you saved my life.
Yeah. In Sam's words, is that whale had remembered him and saw him, came up to him, circled his canoe, and then headed back out. And for him, he said that was a real connection. So it was really cool.
This is a picture. My grandpa, that's my grandpa who used to live there. He lives about an hour logging road away. Port Alberni.
From your mom or your dad?
My mom.
From your mom.
And then that's me sitting beside him. Got to visit him. It was nice to see him again.
Yeah, the title of this section is Making Connections, and what was great is, of course, now with modern technology, is everyone in the community is linked electronically, and so a lot of the students who we had connections with had Facebook pages, and so we've been still connected with them through Facebook and other media as well, and so maintaining those connections. So those are all the students and the Me to We students as well as. Oh, sorry. There you go. So that's a group shot of all the students from the school, as well as the Coquitlam Me to We Aboriginal students that came on the trip, and that was sort of just prior to us leaving to head back home after our experience.
That little girl right there who's laying down.
Wouldn't take off her cleats. She refused to take them off.
She wouldn't what?
Yeah, the little girl that's lying on the ground, if you can see her, you'll see that she has her soccer cleats on.
Oh.
The kids in the community, they play sports and they're excellent athletes. But when she received her shoes, she just said, I'm never taking these off. And I think we were talking to the teachers there, and they said it took 3 days before she actually took them off.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Because she was so proud to have soccer cleats, because they had never had soccer cleats to play soccer in before. So that was really fun. All right, Tag, you're it.
Okay. Well, because we didn't really want Aboriginal Pay It Forward to stop, we decided that we were going to try and help a new community by putting back posting up on our Facebook saying that we would like to help a new community. We'd like a new challenge, who needs the help. And how do you say it? Sliamin First Nations, so that would be Powell River and
Seashell Powell River area.
That area. Waiting for
Port Alberni.
Port Alberni, that area. It's just waiting for it to change.
There it is.
There we go.
This asked for our help, and we decided to accept the challenge, and we already started collecting sports equipment, and I know I have a whole bunch of soccer balls in my basement once again. And they asked for normally the normal equipment, so I think soccer was the main thing they wanted.
Soccer, basketball, volleyball, badminton,
box lacrosse.
Yeah, but they would really like to start their own soccer program, just like Da decided to do, because they heard about what we accomplished towards that community, and they really wanted the help.
So that should be the end of our pictures.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
You know how to work that remote.
Yeah, just one button.
So we're just wondering if there's any questions out there that you have. We'll give you some time to generate.
So I guess I'll start while they're thinking about it. How has this experience changed the community? How do you think it's changed the community that you've impacted?
I know that. Well, I'm prepared. Well, the community is semi-remote, so to have like a huge like group of people come to their community out of everywhere we could have gone and try to like make a huge difference, I think affected like everybody, and it like expanded their like circle. Like one of the girls there, like her name's Darcy. I talk to her like every day, and I still talk to her all the time. And there's a couple other guys that I'm on Facebook, and I try to talk to them as much as I can, seeing like how they are and what they're up to. And with their new equipment, the community like school has like the kids can pretty much do whatever they want. Like gym, I guess is kind of fun because you can play a bunch of different things. You don't just have like the basketball because that's all they had.
I think what we saw too while we were there was the empowerment of the kids through sport, and then really that was our idea: is when kids can play, their self-confidence increases, just their ability to know that, hey, I can try and do it and I can actually be okay at it. But it was to watch the parents come in to watch their kids to play and see that this is a really good thing. And there were people in the community that had never really come in, let's say inside the school for whatever reasons, but they came from their homes to come to school to watch their kids play. We had a basketball game between, and sure enough, they were realizing that, wow, look at the power of sport. My kid is happy, my kid's being active, and we saw that for ourselves. Do you want to add on what else is happening with them?
With the canoes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, well, they also decided to take up canoeing, and my uncle was able to like put a team together, and they won a lot of the races.
They went down to Victoria for a junior. Was it a juniors? No, to Nanaimo for a canoe provincial canoe race or challenge or tournament.
Right.
And they had different age categories, and apparently they showed up and they won 5 or 4 medals, and they actually won. And these were secondhand canoes. And Nanaimo had no idea where did these kids come from. But there was a perfect example where these kids now know that they don't have any limits. You know, all it is if they put in the effort, that's all they know. I just want to play. I just want to do. I want to be good. And they started to win.
And they hosted the provincials.
All right. Then they hosted their provincial Aboriginal canoeing.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
It's really big on the island. Yes.
Yeah, it was really big. And again, they were very successful. Very successful. So it's neat to see the continuation of the empowerment through sport.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know that they still talk of like when we came, and they still like express like how happy and excited they were when we showed up.
What you built and developed in that community, the spark that you lit in that community, will carry on for generations. You know, and I'm saying that from experience because a lot of First Nations communities, you've built a trust with the grassroots, which are the children of that community. And that is huge, what you've done. You've given them something, and you've helped them realize there's more potential within themselves by giving what you gave to them. The spark that you created in that community, these children will probably, and students will grow up saying, I remember Morgan. And what you talked about, Bo, is oral traditions. Sam shared those stories about the whale. Like, you'll remember that. You'll remember those stories. Like, these children will grow up and share with their children. I remember a time when Morgan came to our community. It's an oral tradition. They'll remember that. And what sparked them, and exactly what you're saying, what will come from that is a play it forward in their own community. Somebody did this for me, and I want to give back. Like, it is exactly like that movie, Pay It Forward, but what you've given to them, it is heartwarming. I can see why the principal was actually really emotional, because it is something big when somebody goes to great lengths to build something this extensive and to give part of themselves, because something like this doesn't happen overnight. It happens over a period of time, and the support that you have had with your dad and your family is huge. What you've both done, is just amazing. And I say Haichka because it is amazing. I really appreciate, you both coming here today to share your stories, because it is that. This is how we share, and this is how we explain it, and how things are carried on is orally, because back in the day we didn't have the paper and the pencil and the technology. It was relied upon, exactly like Sam had told you the story, is carrying on from generation to generation. So years down the road, maybe even when you're a grandma, somebody will be saying, aren't you the Morgan that just started this way back there, And that's how First Nations communities relate and connect to each other. The connection that you're talking about, at the same time you were both role models in that community. Like, that is huge for you to still have that connection. And that's what somebody had once told me, that when you build a relationship with a First Nations person and that trust is there, it's no longer are they a friend, you've become a part of their family. You're welcomed in as a family member to their community. And most definitely, what you've reconnected with is your family, Bo. And that is huge. I'm excited for you. I mean, I was 16 before I knew my dad's community. But all of that work that you've done has just reconnected you back to the land. And like you've realized through the visits you had, we don't have that here in the city. And it gives us a greater appreciation for that. Yes. And so with that being said,
do you have a question, I think?
Oh, do we have a question? Okay. Yes. So can we go to who has the question? Do we have a microphone? No? Okay, Catherine?
Sure. This question is from Teresa, and you touched on it earlier, Morgan, I think, but maybe you've got any other plans. Teresa's question, are you going to the other communities for sports equipment, or just put proposals for sports equipment? So I guess, are you actually physically planning on traveling to the community, or are you just going to go through the administrative process and get the plan?
Should we repeat that question here?
Sure.
Okay, so Teresa's question is, Morgan, are you, or the Meet a Wee group, are we planning to go to another community to deliver equipment, or are we just getting the equipment and then just delivering it to them, or what's your plans for that?
Yes, definitely. We're going to go travel to the community to give them the sports equipment ourselves, because I think that's kind of more important than just sending it to them, because you get to see the reaction, you get to make new connections, you get to meet new people, and then those people you will remember.
Yeah. When we went to Diddy Dot, they wrote us letters.
Oh my god.
And the one night, we just got them and we just sat down and read them individually. And some of the kids didn't even know how to even almost write yet. They didn't know much writing. They had to get
Other
help from teachers and family members, I guess, for try. And it was just heartbreaking how much of a difference we made on their lives. And
so right now, the plans for our trip up to the Sliammon is working. It's percolating and becoming something really real. The community, fortunately, in our department, we have a lady who's from the Sliammon community. So this Christmas, she came and she said, "You better get ready because they're coming, and when they're coming, you better, you better host them, because otherwise, I don't want to be shamed here." Because I've been talking about the community. So we've been in contact with the community, and they're aware we have a date set. Already the Meet a Wee group of students, we meet this January. We're looking at how we've been doing with fundraising so far. What we're asking the community leaders who we're in contact with, what specific items to help them, support them with because they do have a gymnasium. Mm-hmm. What do they need for their gymnasium, and what kind of equipment do they need for their sports groups that they have organized there? We're in contact with the coastal region coordinator for Aboriginal Sport and Recreation, and he's going to be bringing in a coach to help us do some clinics so we can use the equipment and use it appropriately. And we're looking at maybe even having a game versus the RCMP up there, so that'll be a lot of fun. So this community, they're aware. We're coming because, boy, when we come. But what's great, what's great is that in Coquitlam, we have a high population of urban Aboriginal students, and who, like you say, don't perhaps have that connection to the family where they came from. So for a lot of them, when we do this trip, just they see, they live the culture. They can see, and I found as an educator that to see the change in my students, and that's sort of what motivates me to continue, is that change in them. Because like you say, you'll never forget. It'll be in your heart forever, and those changes that feel good, you always want to continue that on. So yes, Powell River's getting ready for us.
What I was going to ask is, okay, so you've talked about the fundraising. What kind of time frame did you look at from when you began the fundraising to the time of delivery in both last year and this year? Like the time frame for the fundraising
like
activities.
How much time we
Yes.
had? Well, I do know that last year, this year it's kind of been a little bit different because I think everybody's been really busy over the holidays and stuff. But last year I know we started in October, and February 10th we went down to Didadot, and by that time we had like enough equipment for a whole lot of people.
So like 3.5 months of intense fundraising.
And counting.
And that's amazing. And then this year, how much time?
Same 3 months. We started really in November, getting our ideas and focusing which community we were going to help to deliver equipment. So November we had half of November, December, because of course with Christmas it gets a little crazy. So we have January, February, and then March 8th is our weekend where we're bringing our equipment with us.
So do you raise enough money also for the trip to go there? Is that part of it?
No, that's
Dad.
No.
We're very fortunate that my district principal, or my principal of Aboriginal education, she knows that how important this project is, and so she sets aside a certain amount of funds for our project, and so those funds will cover our transportation and our food while during the trip. So that's our commitment
so
to.
The fundraising goes strictly to the community.
All fundraising goes straight to sport equipment and to the
100%
community.
goes strictly to them.
So I know what's probably looming in everybody's head because it's in mine. What type of fundraising activities do you actually do? Like, is it dances? I saw the jelly bean count, but
Well, I don't know about like the middle schools what they're doing because I think they can do dances and stuff. But I know for my school I probably won't be able to do that. But I do know that for fundraising I have to. Well, me and Kayla last year would send out emails and letters to different like companies. Like we went to Sports Check and we went to our soccer club and asked for any like equipment or jerseys or anything they had that they weren't going to use if we could like have it so we could give it to the community. And we ended up getting involved with Kids Sport, and they also help us fundraise, and what they don't like sell at their sale thing they give to us so we can give it down to the community.
do you have any more comments to add?
Yeah, for middle schools, I know like at the Meetawee thing, we brainstormed some ideas, and we have candy sales, like jelly bean raffles. We had a gingerbread house. We got a gingerbread house, and you raffled for that. It could be anything from, it's just what your school has time for and the kids in it. like, I think we're gonna do a car wash soon, maybe, if we can get adults to help us with that. If there's anything else that comes to mind, we'll add it in. We just run it through the principal, see if that's okay.
A lot of the time for my side, I usually approach a lot of the high schools or elementary schools because they will purchase new equipment just to replace some of their older equipment, and we'll just ask, can you please donate that? And I approach a lot of the local soccer clubs or softball. Last year we had a lot of softball equipment donated because softball clubs were cleaning out their clubhouse and just updating their equipment, and they said, great, awesome, there you go, take it off my hands. So baseball equipment.
What?
Where did the softball equipment from this summer go?
They went to the. I remember this now. Oh, okay. Give me a
all
moment.
excited.
Okay. Well, they went to the. It was that.
Aboriginal provincial.
Yeah, Aboriginal provincial championship thing. Softball tournament thing that all of the equipment went to them so they could distribute it to the kids who really needed it because they didn't have any of it.
Right. And so part of our goal too with our trip to the Sliama Nation is the connections that we're making there is we want them to be able, what we're hoping to do is bring more equipment than they need, because we're relying on the communities that have equipment and maybe more than what they need is now to, again, play it forward and look for communities that are close to them to say, hey, we now have enough money for our own uniforms or for our own soccer balls. Why? Here's the stuff that we don't need anymore. Why don't you start your own programs and maintain that sense of that ripple effect? That's really the root goal of the foundation is keep playing it forward. Here's your startup. Now let's get you going and do something good for another community as well. So.
We do have one long comment on here. It's from a counselor up in my home community.
Hi, home.
Aggie Celesta, who's really quite the avid ball player. She was awesome ball player.
Good old softball.
She says thank you for the presentation. And she said my question would be around her youth group participating with the Bridging Communities project with the RCMP. Sounds similar. We are co-hosting with our Shuswap Nation. And it sounds like, now this is how I take this, Aggie, correct me if I'm wrong, you're ensuring that an invitation is going to be sent to the Play It Forward group to participate on these given dates. So the Shuswap Nation is actually 17 bands in the Shuswap Nation in the interior.
Yeah.
And their total population is about 10,000. So it sounds like she would like to invite your group to be participating with their bridging communities and the RCMP. So all communities, they try to bridge those gaps and help the RCMP understand First Nations communities as well, and they try and involve the youth groups. And we will be putting together a few training courses throughout the year to make a canoe from scratch, to actually the rowing team and the Shuswap River to Kamloops. And she further states, it's awesome you're promoting youth to play in organized sports. So Aggie, did I capture that correctly? She's typing.
Yes.
You can turn on your mic and speak with us if you would like. Yes, so that's what she's doing. She is.
Now, is she inviting the group of students or just the equipment aspect of it? Sorry, are you inviting the Meadowee students up to come and play, or are you just looking at the sports equipment to come up and to help pass out sports equipment? Just a little clarification there. She's typing.
We can sing. You can practice your songs if you would like. while we're waiting?
I don't know any. Sad.
Take a planking break.
Yes, there we go.
Oh, goodness.
Not that so passive.
Right there.
Catherine's good at it. She's been practicing.
She's so
Oh,
Vancouver.
she said, is that her answer? Yeah. I'm sorry, did I?
Oh, she's coming on.
Oh, hey.
Oh, yay.
All right.
Hi, Eggs.
Welcome to our first webcam guest.
Yeah, there we go.
But we won't be able to hear her unless your speakers are up.
Do I have to turn my speakers on? She will turn it on over there.
Okay,
Let's
sorry.
Just 1 second. This is our first time trying this, so it's very interesting.
Exciting.
We should be able to hear her.
There we go.
I think we're here.
Go ahead, Agnes.
Hello.
There you are.
Hi.
Hi, yeah. Are you participating in Virginia communities? And I'd actually like to invite your group to present at one of the locations at our rest stops and to show the communities what your project is about. And if you would be willing to come out and actually canoe a portion of the trip with us, you will be providing a lot of transportation restaurants on the way.
Fabulous. I will definitely get your information off of Crystal so that we can communicate a little bit more, and we'll look at the dates and see what's possible for us. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Agnes.
That's a big
Fabulous.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That is,
That's cool.
That's really awesome.
Okay, are there any more questions on Adobe? Did I miss anything, Catherine? Further up? So, what sports do you play?
I play a high-end baseball team, high up, because I mainly focus on one sport.
Are you a shortstop?
No, I'm the first baseman. I can't throw. That's the thing.
I play very competitive, but I can't throw.
Yeah.
You should learn how to throw.
Yeah.
Say. I don't think they heard what position you were because you said it a little low. Be proud
Yeah,
of
I
it.
play-
Be proud of it.
First base
Be proud.
isn't important.
Yeah,
First
first
base,
base. I'm the backup now.
Well, I play high-level soccer, and I play, like, really high-level field hockey, I guess.
Really? Yeah.
Want to tell them where you're going in the next week or so?
Well, on the 2nd of February, I'm going to Florida for a, kind of like a world tournament, I guess.
Be confident.
It's a world tournament put on by Disney where, a bunch of teams come together for this huge tournament, but it's for all the universities in the States to look at you. And I play for the U16 team, so that's...
It's prospect camp,
It's
basically.
prospect, and
right,
it's
right.
like 2 years older than I am, so...
Wow.
It's kind of exciting.
So
I
it's kind
play
of
with
like a
1-year-old.
midget or a bantam going up to midget
Yes,
in hockey.
yes.
So the equivalent of 3 years difference in age,
Yeah.
you'll be playing against.
She's a young Sidney Crosby, yeah.
Yeah, you see.
In field hockey.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. I didn't mean shortstop in a bad way. I meant shortstop as in fast. Shortstop cover a lot of ground, but
Not a
I
height,
know.
it's not a height
First-
question. Yeah.
first base is
Yeah.
still equally important. As I got older, I went
Yeah,
from the field,
after.
outfield into infield to first. So
Yeah, first,
I'm a
you gotta
big-
know how to catch well.
yes, especially when they're thrown at your feet or at your face.
Yeah.
Or in the ground, you
Face.
got to snag those balls up.
Yeah, my shortstop's scary. He's big.
The
He's
one with that.
no.
Okay.
That was on another team.
Okay.
In a higher level.
In between stories there.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
Oops.
It's
There you
great
go.
to hear because what you're promoting is part of what you're about. It's ingrained into who you are, like what you're promoting out there.
Mhm.
It's awesome.
Sports is
My life.
Yeah.
I have no time for anything else.
So with that being said, how does your involvement with the Aboriginal Play It Forward Sports Foundation affect your studies or your sports, knowing the importance behind your schooling?
It actually doesn't affect me personally all that much, except for when we go on trips and stuff, because I purposely arrange them so they don't clash at all, because school's important, this is really important, so is my sports, so they all kind of have to be
They're
equal.
all, yeah,
Equal, I guess.
they have a huge part, each of them.
Yes.
So how about you, Bo? How does it affect, how being part of the Me to We group, how does that affect you with your studies, or does it conflict, or sports?
It inflicts a bit, but I catch up on it, just because the extra time I spend out of when I'm not doing homework, I'd have to catch up on it later that day, take another hour or so the next day of doing homework. But, and then I think it's fun too, because in my lunch hours when we fundraise, we pretty much just take that lunch hour away from us and help get money, and that's a good feeling, getting money for someone else to help
Yes. That's
others.
That's good.
Amazing. So, what kinds of sports equipments are in demand out there in the communities? Like, what do you see? We saw the young girl with not wanting to take off her soccer cleats and things of that nature.
Well, it's normally like soccer equipment, volleyball equipment, basketball, baseball, and softball are like the really high in demands, and box lacrosse, was it? Or
Box lacrosse
Box
is what
lacrosse.
we need right now.
Right now? Okay. Well, box
Well,
lacrosse.
for Powell River.
Powell River.
And that's
and
harder to get.
yeah. And like uniforms and
Uniforms.
most
Sometimes,
people.
yeah, certain sports apparel. Again, depending on the community itself. A lot at Dididad, they did not have any soccer goalposts, so we actually brought some soccer goalposts up for them. Whereas, for example, Powell River, they have soccer goalposts, but they don't have the netting for the goals, or they need new netting for the goals that they have there. So it's, again,
Depends on the
it really
place.
depends on the place. And as you said, sometimes you need a really strong mentor who has an interest there of the community to spearhead and help with the equipment or the training with the kids. And that's why sometimes a youth coordinator or a community coordinator is crucial, because they'll have, at least with one sport, they'll have a personal interest, and it just rolls from there. And then we expand, and if we bring extra equipment, then all of a sudden the interest is, volleyball. We can play that in the gym, no problem. And we can, find nets for them, posts, and all that. So.
Yeah.
At this time, I'm actually going to throw a wrench in here because we have Dad sitting in the room. I'd actually like to hear a little bit from you, how amazed you are. I mean, just hearing the story, I'm amazed. And, a lot of times, the parents are in the background supporting their children and proud of what they're doing. But I think I'd like to hear what, if you...
Am I amazed it's gone where it's gone? Not really. I think, knowing my daughter and then knowing the people that she's put herself with, I was more shocked, as myself, my daughter's Aboriginal, I'm not. So, and my brother telling me a lot of history about what's happening where he is. He's not Aboriginal either, living in an Aboriginal community. His wife's a teacher at one of the schools. And so, the stuff he would tell me and this and that, and I think it was more, I took a lot for granted, didn't realize. You just think that because one kid plays team sports, that this is over here and this is here, and then you find out that there's like 60 kids that are soccer. Well, if we had a ball, we'd play it. And it was him and I having this conversation almost at the time that Morgan walked in the room and said, I really am having a hard time figuring out what to do with this whole thing. So I'm definitely proud, for sure. And I know her grandparents are proud. Everybody's quite happy how it's gone. I think the biggest thing is that at the beginning, our kids don't know how to make it work, and the right path was to do the way she went, and that was went to her Aboriginal counselor. All of a sudden, the Me to We. I mean, it was looking. Everybody melded at the same time. They're all looking for something, or Morgan was looking for help. They were looking for a great project, and and it's just sitting here now listening, and then people saying, just what she just came on and said, hey, we'd like to invite you to this. I could see it growing really quite quickly, and it has to start somewhere, and then it goes. It takes a team to get somewhere. And I think that, as I say, Morgan will be busy, and, in 4 years will probably be in university, and her time span will be very limited, but there will be other kids that will fall into that role, and will keep the movement going, and hopefully that it's contagious and it goes all the way across Canada, and keeps a lot of focus on our groups. But no, I'm quite proud of how it's worked out, and I think that every kid, no matter how much they put into it, whether it's a little bit or it's a lot, everybody has their own time, their own comfortabilities. I think it's great.
Thank you. I just wanted to actually hear because some of the pictures are from your home and the space.
Oh yeah.
The space that was lacking.
We're not far from that right now. We have an absolute garage full, which is it's been fun. And more coming quickly.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So was there any more comments about the sports equipment and the ideas and what's needed? So if somebody were wanting to contribute to you, then I guess at the end of the presentation we'll have some contact information.
Yeah. Do we have a bank account under Aboriginal Sports?
No.
No, because we haven't really been doing cash donation. If there's been cash, it's been turned into equipment, right? So we don't.
Right.
So it's been just strictly donation of
That'd be
equipment.
great.
Okay, so we could say if there is a cash donation, they could put under SD43.
Yeah, the Meet We group, I think, that's the way to do it.
Care of Coquitlam.
But I mean, even if someone, like you said, that says, hey, I want to help and I want to donate some stuff, it doesn't mean they have to give it to Morgan to say, hey, look, and bring it all the way down here to go somewhere else again. It doesn't take much. There's a Facebook page and she'll give it all to you. And people will talk, but it's not hard to say, hey, look, we want to help do this too. And they can then, it can go to a community very close to them, or they say, hey, we want to do this too, let's help this community. That's the whole idea, I think, at the end of the day.
Yeah, because it could be right beside you and you don't even know.
We didn't know.
We did.
No.
No.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
What advice can you give to students, or I know even the parents who are listening, or community workers who want to start their own program to help others?
Okay, well, I have some advice. Don't try doing it alone at all, because I know the first couple weeks doing it by myself was like really stressful and I didn't get very far at all. So I would say that you'd have to find the right people to talk to, and make sure you talk to your parents and get their input, and find your counselors, because they can probably help, and even your friends, because just get a group of your friends together and that's a lot better than just you, because if you can do a whole much more if it's a team of people instead of just yourself, and try to get the word out and pretty much the normal stuff.
Social media helps.
Yes, it
nowadays,
helps very much.
Yeah, it helps a lot, especially to get word out. And in your case, we were just fortunate enough to have some newspapers who were interested in what was happening locally with our local students. So, and that really helped get the word out, because then the newspapers on the island picked it up.
And then they took
So
notice.
they're coming. So a similar thing that this coming up, we'll contact our papers again and let them know that what we're trying to do and which community we're focusing on this year, and what kind of equipment we're looking for. So see if we can maintain that.
Definitely the UBC Youth Circle and Learning Circle would like to follow and monitor. Maybe next year do a follow-up, because what you're doing is great. What you've started is, you planted that seed. Now,
Yes.
Here we are on Adobe Connect and, video conference that people are going to see. It's a learning resource for other people to learn from what you experience. And the advice you just gave them is don't do it alone. That, it's a team effort. We're playing some team sports here, so let's play together. And let's,
Definitely.
Is there any other comments that you would like to add, Rob, to this program, or Bo?
Actually, even though the question's down, what have you taken away? What have you learned from your experience going to Dididog? Well, we'll start with you.
I took away a lot. It was amazing to see people just come together and laugh and smile and just have joy in giving back, because people get a lot of getting, but it's less giving lately. So starting that giving again, getting more giving and giving and giving, just feels great.
Great. Thanks. And Morgan?
Well, I can say that after our trip, even though I had to go home a day early, which really sucked, but like afterwards, I was still happy. Like I couldn't be upset for a few weeks afterwards because I was just so happy about like their energy, like just made you happy because you couldn't be upset when everybody's smiling and laughing and like just being so like happy, like 'cause sometimes you don't see that all that often, and it's really amazing to be able to just like relax with people you don't really know, which is kind of cool.
And then get to know.
And then get to know them, and then.
And I know a lot of a lot of the Me to We groups or the movement through the schools for Me to We, they want to look locally, then community, or then globally. And we hear about all the stuff that's happening for Africa, and it was really great for us in the Aboriginal Education Department to have Morgan come and present to us, because we said, this is it. We need to look after our own, because it is happening here. And the realization is that a lot of us just take it for granted. Well, because I live in the city and there's lots of organized sports, but outside of our little bubble that we live in, that's the exposure we're allowing our kids to see, is that not everybody has what you have, or have the tools that you have. But for you to give that back to your community, but also to your blood in a way, right? It pays so much for themselves, and as just from what I'm hearing, it's like you say, that pride of giving is so much stronger and powerful than just taking it, going, oh, thank you, but to give it away and to say, let's play. And that was the goal, and it's great that it's maintained itself. So very proud of that.
So other parts of your programming now, we're working on another initiative together.
It's not that I'm
Rob,
ever busy.
It's not that far away. May will come up on us pretty darn quick. So May 3rd and 4th is the 24-hour drum event.
Can you hold that? Oh. Yes. We can see that on the screen a little bit.
Yep, it's there.
Okay.
You can hold it up to that one up there.
All right. We have now what we've been talking about this afternoon, of course, is a Me to We initiative for the grade 7s and grade 8s in our middle schools in Coquitlam. But I also I'm in charge of the leadership for high school, and our high school group is called AYLC, which is Aboriginal Youth Leadership Committee. And we have 5 high schools that we draw our Aboriginal leadership students from. And last year, we were fortunate enough to be invited to the Squamish Nation at Whistler Conference Center and listen to a group of students from West Bank in Kelowna who started what they called the 24-hour drum. And I brought my AYLC students up there to be part of the conference and hear what these students from West Bank had to talk about. And they talked about the drum and how they did a 24-hour drum to raise money and raise awareness. And for them, it was sort of their Me to We initiative of creating change in their community and awareness. And to hear the passion and the power that these young students talked about and the experience that they had, I knew right away that this was something that my students, without even having to ask them, my high school students would really want to be a part of. The middle school students, the Me to We's, don't quite know it yet because we're focusing on theirs, but they're going to be a part of it as well on a little bit lower scale. But what we're planning is that one of our high schools is going to host the facility for us. But we're going to participate in the 24-hour drum on May 3rd and 4th. Our drum is going to be beginning on 12:30 to 12:30 on the 4th. So just after lunchtime, so make sure the kids are fed before we start. And what's great is that the Aboriginal Education Department in Sechelt, in Squamish, West Bank, West Vancouver,
Shuswap, Irene, Maggie.
Bella, I believe. They were all there and participating, and in some format, they are going to hold their own 24-hour drum on May 3rd as well. We're trying to, through Crystal's and Catherine's technology miracle, we're going to try and connect those communities together to witness what is happening. What's great about at Seashelt is they were able to get some grant money where they could actually bring in Aboriginal storytellers. The name that I remember is Richard Van Camp, and I know he has his latest story out right now, and he's willing to tell that story to us. And so our hope is that we, through the video link, here we are in Coquitlam with our 24-hour drum, and we can stop at a predetermined time, and then up comes Richard Van Camp, where we can hear a story from Richard Van Camp and some of the other storytellers as well. I have the Didadat group is invited to our 24-hour drum, so we're going to host. And one of our themes for our high school students is hosting. How to host, well, a potlatch, but how to be a host when people are coming to your territory, even though maybe traditionally not from there. But the Coquitlam band is in partnership with us as well. So we're going to sing some traditional songs from the Coquitlam band. We've invited the the Delta Aboriginal department out. So the Aboriginal students from Delta are coming to our 24-hour drum. The Langley Aboriginal department's coming to our drum. So all of a sudden, our little, we're going to just have the Didadat students come out and drum with us has now turned into almost the whole Fraser Valley, some from Chehalis who are coming as well. So we're really having to talk to the students about how do you host an event? Because remember, this is your territory. What are the proper protocols? Having to teach the students songs, and making sure that they're aware of all those things. And so for them, it's all brand new, and it's going to be fabulous because we're going to be having the drumming, the singing. We're going to have crafts. We're even going to invite vendors, because all money that is raised, we're going to have our students have pledge forms for the 24 hours, raising funds, because all those funds will be going to Aboriginal Play It Forward Sports Foundation.
Amazing.
So again, just connecting the communities together to say, we're here to help. And so all that money that's raised is going to go into the foundation so we can just maintain ourselves and continue it on. So you better open up that bank account.
That's awesome.
That's all I can say.
I didn't even know about that.
So we invite you to look into the 24-hour drum and maybe even look at doing this on a smaller scale. And it's really, like I say, it's more than what I've expected. So I'm proud of what's being coming together for it.
We may be, as the UBC Youth Circle, going out on site from your location. We'll talk with the technical team, because it sounds like that might be the site to be hosting from and to be broadcasting from, because it does sound like a big group. And we did at one point try and include the Delta School District, but their challenge has been technology and the ability to break down the firewalls and just the computer and those challenges. So it's great to hear that they're being included in your school district, because we've been trying to include them. So, well, that's just fabulous. You know, the work that you're doing in Coquitlam School District it's amazing. You know, and Morgan, it started from one little seed, and you know, your dad and your uncle, that's just amazing how that idea came together, and you built something that has just grown into something else. It's like that little tree that's growing like that. There's a story behind, you know, the cedar tree, that, you know, your tree has grown into something with all these branches and has branched off into different areas for a greater cause and a greater purpose. And I know it all will all come back to you. My mom has always told me when you do something good, it will come back on you tenfold. And that's my message that's been given to me these past couple of weeks. You know, people contacting me and Catherine about wanting to give back to programs and to people and wanting to pay it forward. It's just amazing when you hear the stories. We see it on TV all the time, but when you've actually become a source to be able to tell your story, it's very powerful. And I really do thank you for coming today, sharing your stories and the dedication by not only your parents, but you know, the staff at the school district. That's just amazing.
Well, thank you so much for embracing us as well and giving us a voice for the rest of BC, because if, you know, through their voices to inspire others, it's the key, and that's what they did for us. Starts from their voice and comes through. So thank you.
So I will just cut to this here. I've got the learning circle up. So next week, January 17th, we have Indigenous role model Gino Ojic, who is going to be, of course, he's a former Vancouver Canuck enforcer, Gino Ojic, and he's now an entrepreneur and runs a consulting business with Peter Leach. They will be doing a youth-oriented presentation that will feature the Wheel of Fear, a tool designed to support youth on their wellness journey. And the wheel enables youth to identify fears, explore their origin, and learn how to overcome the fears. The presentation will also cover and bring such awareness to the issue of bullying and learning how to use that Wheel of Fear. It's an actual usable tool to be used in situations where bullying is involved. Peter and Gino will also share their personal challenges and how they overcame bullying and adversity to achieve their dreams. What's been interesting is being able to talk to these individuals and hear their stories, because when you think of Gino, Gino's that big 6'2" or 3" hockey player that you've seen on the ice, and he's big and strong, but to hear the sensitive side, that it was a challenge moving from his First Nations community and finding a home here in the city, and where he ended up and where he felt at home. He will share his personal experiences and basically how he was probably bullied when he came to the city and feeling comfortable. Yes, he was that strong man on the ice, but when it came down to fitting into a place here in the city, finding his place in this world was a challenge. And if he's willing to share that, hopefully everybody can join us for that session. In addition to that, there is one more slide. Do I do it?
Yeah.
So for today's presentation, here is some contact information. Aggie, here's the information that you will be needing, so you can make a connection to Rob by email or by phone. And there's a Facebook link, so if you go and like the page,
absolutely.
And you can also email us directly through the email that's on the page too.
There's an email on the page that you can connect direct email to Morgan.
Okay, Aggie, can you make that connection, please? That would be great. That's great, that invitation that you sent earlier. In addition to that, we do love to hear feedback on presentations, not only from our presenters, but from the audience that's listening. If you would like to give Catherine or myself an email, there is our contacts. We do appreciate feedback. Of course, our funding is based on numbers and participation and everything overall, and feedback for our continued success is very important. So if you would like to leave us some feedback, that would be great. And
I'm right there.
I appreciate, again, sharing of the stories, and thank you all for participating, the staff, the volunteers, the communities, the people who organize the equipment, Steve, Catherine. We couldn't do this without our technical support, so thank you very much. And the speakers, I sincerely do thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Aichka, Cook's Jam, and that's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's what I should have used when Trevor Mack was here. That's a wrap. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, she's cutting us off.
Yeah.
That's stop.